Hi and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing some video clips of some of the steps I took in creating this mixed media piece that I've called Sun Goddess and Raven. It's actually currently on display in the Hudson Community Center, so if you're a local person and you'd like to check it out, it's there for the month of June. So here I am just drawing out the initial layout. I've chosen to do this on canvas board because I like the rigidity of it for doing things like collage and mixed media. I chose to paint a golden color over the top of it just to get a sort of a feel for what I was looking for. That, of course, ends up getting covered up completely, but that's just all part of the process. I created this template for helping me select areas of gel print papers to use in the collage. So I'm a big fan of gel printing. If you're not familiar with it, it's super fun. I highly recommend you looking into playing around with it. It's a product that's super versatile, super fun, and a little bit addictive. And you can do so much with the gel prints. So I'm using the template to cut out different areas. I really wanted to create some depth and a feeling of flow and contrast in the Sun Goddess's hair. So I'm using some really kind of fun and different combinations of colors and textures. I started using this silicone wedge tool for laying down and the collage elements, and I find it works so well for getting the material down. I believe I'm using a golden matte medium to glue the pieces down. There was lots of little fiddling around with pieces. Sometimes I would lay it out and not necessarily like the color combination. So on a few occasions I redid a lot of the pieces. Sometimes I took it apart and redid it and until I found something that I was happy with. I've left lots of space between the strands of hair because I wanted to add an extra little element in to create more of a sense of flow and movement in the piece. I think I reworked around her face quite a number of times until I found something that I was happy with. I've got my raven blocked in there on the left, and I will be painting over that at some point. I think I chose to roll out some pearl metallic white over the background, but ended up covering that as well. So here's just a little recap of once the hair elements are in position. And here I've chosen to add some metallic gold into the spaces between the strands of hair. Again, to get that sense of movement in the hair, and kind of like when the light hits the golden metallic paint, giving it a sort of a shimmering effect. I also chose to block in the lotus flowers with the gold, and that sort of peeks through in some of the collage parts. Lotus flowers have a very wonderful symbolic meaning. I learned more about them many years ago when I was studying to be a yoga teacher. And they grow up through muddy conditions and come out into these beautiful flowers. And I find it's very symbolic of our evolution as human beings, sometimes making our way, struggling up through our challenges, and somehow finding a way to shine our brightest. Playing around with different ideas for the collage elements of the lotus flowers. And then here I've started again to paint over and create the layers for the raven. I end up using acrylic paint and paint pens and alcohol markers, which I'm relatively new to working with. They're kind of fun, the alcohol markers. And here I've started playing around with how I want the sun goddess's face to look, and I worked different layers over and over again until I found something I liked. So it's a combination of acrylics and alcohol pens and paint pens until I found something that I was happy with. At this point, I chose to start experimenting with this metallic gold leaf kind of material, and I think the glue that I was using was either too old or wasn't the right glue for the job, because it wasn't gluing down very well. But I kept at it for a while, and I kept adding layers and layers of gold to try and see if I could get an effect that I was happy with. So you can see that there wasn't a lot of the gold that was sticking to the surface. So here, this is sort of after several attempts at creating layers and layers of that material. But I still wasn't happy with it. So I think at that point I ordered some of the gold leaf with a new kind of glue. Which here I'm applying with the silicone wedge. This was my first time working with this material, and it was very messy, a lot of fun, a little challenging, and I wasn't 100% loving just the flat gold. So here I've come in with some vinegar to oxidize it, and this only works with imitation gold leaf, to oxidize it and create that mottled sort of aged quality to the metallic, which I really fell in love with. And I think that's something I'm going to explore more in other pieces. So it was vinegar that created that aged effect. I painted over the whole thing with varnish, and this is the final product. So thank you so much for watching. Take care.